Most people treat sales like most kids these days treat sex, which is transactional. I had this condition going back 10 years ago that I got diagnosed with. It was called Wolff-Parkinson's White. And it's basically like heart palpitations on steroids. It's like someone going brrrr on your chest. It's really unnerving and it doesn't feel good, and it literally can take you out of the situation that you're in and take you out of any form of presence. And so after having this for a couple of years, I realized I need to go and check this out. And so I went and got checked out. They put all this technology on me. I had to wear technology for a couple of days. I go back to the GP. The GP goes, well, it looks like you've got Wolff-Parkinson's White. I'm going to send you to a specialist. Got sent to a specialist. It was a South African guy. I literally walked in. I had to pay my $617 before I went in to see him. And then I paid my $617. I went in to see him, and he literally sat down and he goes, he was South African. He goes, it turns out you've got Wolff-Parkinson's White, hey? Well, listen, let me tell you what you need to know. He told me the procedure was going to take about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Recovery is going to be a couple of hours in hospital. It's going to cost me around $15,000, and that he could book me in at some point in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I was just like, what? He goes, we make a little incision in your groin, we put a wire up, and we basically electrocute your heart. And I was like, yeah, don't call me, I'll call you. And I literally turned around and walked out because I was like, you're going to electrocute my most precious organ. The one thing that I adore more than any other part of my anatomy is my heart. And it's the biggest thing that I carry around with me. It's the thing that I share with most people. It's the reason that I do what I do. You want to electrocute? I was like, no. And so I walked away. Okay, for 2 years I tried to heal it through good nutrition. I tried to heal it through meditation. I had periods where I had no problems at all. And then as soon as my ex-wife gave birth to my son, it came back with a ferocious intensity. And I went back to the GP and I was like, dude, I need to get this fixed. He goes, well, I've sent you to probably one of the best doctors there is. I was like, yeah, I didn't really like him. All he wanted to do was cut me open and electrocute my heart. And is there another doctor that you can send me to who's just as good? And he goes, let me go look at the directory. He goes, there's another doctor here who's actually in the Northern Beaches. His name's Dr. Miyashita. Now, all I heard was Mr. Miyagi. I really like Mr. Miyagi. Can you send me to see him? Anyway, my doctor knows who I am. He's like, you're an idiot. All right, we'll send you out to see Mr. Miyagi. And so I got sent out to see Dr. Miyashita. I sat down and Miyashita he says, look, I've just spent the last 20 minutes going over your files. It would appear that you do have Wolff-Parkinson's White. But before we decide a course of action, I would like to just get to know how it's affecting you a little bit more. So first of all, tell me, how does it present? Where does it show up? How does it affect you at work? How does it affect you at home? How does it affect you during exercise? How does it affect you in the bedroom? How does it affect you in any other areas of your life? What are the implications? How do you feel when it happens? He spent about 30 minutes asking me a whole range of questions that were situational, where he was looking for evidence that it was actually impacting me in a way that was causing a real problem. And at the end of this 30 minutes, he goes, I'm still not convinced that you need any intervention. If it's okay by you, I'd like to take you through a stress test now if you've got time. I'm like, yeah, I've got time. So he literally stood up, walked behind me, opened the doors, and there was a stress testing machine, which is basically like a big treadmill with all these boxes and whistles, and they had to hook me up to all these things. And by the end of 15 minutes, I've got sweat pouring because you're running, you're jogging, gives me a towel, brings me back in. And now by this stage, I've been in his office about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And he goes, listen, I've taken into consideration all of your reports from your Holter monitor. I've taken into consideration the notes from your GP. I've taken into consideration how you've told me it's affecting you and every area that's told me affecting you. I've also taken into consideration all of your results from the stress test. He goes, but I think it's also important, I'm taking into consideration you've just had a new baby boy. It's without any shadow of a doubt that I'd recommend that you have the surgery. And the reason I say that is because Wolff-Parkinson's White is a predictor of early mortality. He goes, without a shadow of doubt, I'd be recommending if you were my son to get this surgery. I said, great, when can we get it done? Doing the surgery with him was actually $2,500, almost $3,000 more. It was more expensive. But he took the time to understand my situation, and surgery was done, and I've had pretty much no issues since then with that. So when we start looking at sales, we've got to understand sales is a relationship process. It's not a transactional process. It is a relationship process. It is a form of discovering and finding ways to relate to others in healthy ways where you can find a common need based on a problem that somebody has that is genuine and verified and a solution that you have. versus trying to manipulate someone into a transaction.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hopefully you enjoyed my story about Mr. Miyagi, who doesn't mind catching flies with chopsticks. But sales, one of the most important parts of the game. Now, for a very limited time, I'd like to give you guys access to my 5-part free training, How to Sell More with Less Effort, which will take you through the 7 fundamentals of selling, but more importantly, demonstrate to you why so many people fail at the art and the practice and the science of selling. And here's what you've got to understand. If you can't sell, you don't have a business. You have a hobby that's probably going to send you broke. So I'm going to show you step by step, bit by bit, piece by piece, how to sell more with less effort using integrity, honesty, and a way that is going to enable you to build more relationships long term. Check it out. Click on the link below, and I look forward to seeing you in the training.